Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. This year we have witnessed major health issues and at the same time we have seen how this issue of pandemic, its various manifestations have terrified people. But this has also challenged me, the scientists and the medical experts. And this year would be outstanding for breakthroughs in medicare, health, and medicine. In nanotechnology alone, more than 200 new additions were made to the knowledge which will lead to further application of nanotechnology to healthcare. Never in the history of the world has the world been so engrossed with a very mundane, very routine subject of scientific progress, but these 2 years, because of COVID-19, human ingenuity was challenged. And that ingenuity was responsible for creating new avenues of treating mankind. The first thing that comes to my mind is COVID and its treatment. An innovation of the year, normally when you develop a vaccine, it takes 5 to 10 years. But the outstanding innovation of this year was groundbreaking vaccines, both by Mrna and Pfizer and BioNTech and others and the variations. And I'm naming these two basically, Mrna and Pfizer BioNTech, because then others were just the variations, but they were innovative. This vaccine, whatever company made it, is highly effective at preventing COVID despite the side effects. And to pull the humankind out of the COVID pandemic, these vaccines became the only hope, as a matter of fact. And the pharmaceutical companies around the world raced to characterize SARS-CoV-2 virus, understand how it invades our immune system, and develop a targeted injection to prevent it. As of November 2021, just a week back, 28 promising vaccines have been tested, 50 have been authorized for use, but the two that stand out, as I said, is Mrna and Pfizer. And these developed with the help of National Institute of Allergy and Infection Disease. Now, there's one thing I'd like to point to. These vaccines are unlike any other oculation on the market today. They are the first so-called mRNA vaccines, a technology that has been in development for decades, but was never developed. These vaccines work by harnessing messenger RNA, the genetic bit of code that tells our cells how to make proteins. And this vaccine, coming in 2 shots, worked extremely well, despite the fact of the side effects, which have been there, of course, and they would be there in anything. But they performed remarkably well in the clinical trials. Both of them were effective about 90%, and they fended off hospitalization of nearly 100% of its time, which was quite an achievement. But then this was not alone. There is a new path-breaking treatment for a rare deadly disease. You know, a rare deadly disease exists in the world which causes premature aging. You become old before your age. And the disease is called Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome. As a matter of fact, this syndrome lives rarely beyond 15 years of age. So a child of 5 can behave like an old man of 60, 65. It's a rare disease, it's a deadly disease. Until now there has been no treatment. But now the scientists discovered a genetic mutation change in the shape of a protein. And that was Zokinvy. Zokinvy. Now, Zokinvy prevents the buildup of defective protein, minimizes the damage it can do, prolongs the lifespan from 15 years to 40 years. In addition to prolonging the lifespan, the new drug also reduces symptoms of heart and bone problems associated with rare conditions, which affects 400,000 children worldwide. So 400,000 children can be saved. And then there has been a big step forward, the third one, in gene therapy. Intellia Therapeutics developed NTLA 2001. And this is the first time that a genetic liver disease has been treated by injecting CRISPR, which is gene editing tool, directly into a person's body. And this gene therapy is welcome because there are no side effects. It uses your body genes. And since 2012, because researchers have been tweaking CRISPR, the gene editing tool, but they were not successful. As a matter of fact, this would help patients of sickle cell anemia recover. It was in August of 2021 this year that the results of 6-person clinical trial came out, and then it has been approved by FDA, and the doctors have fixed the genetic defects which cause a very rare liver condition. What is happening is packaged inside a tiny blob called a lipid nanoparticle. I told you nanotechnology is going to be the future of medicare. So this goes directly into the defective cells of liver, works on that, and the treatment begins. And it can pave the way not only for the liver but for variety of genetic conditions. Then comes Ebola, the fearful disease of Africa, the evidence of which has been seen even in USA. So a game-changer treatment has been invented or discovered, whatever you want to call it. It's a monoclonal antibody treatment. And it has been seen that Ebola, which causes high fever, several bleeding and organ failures, is fatal in about 60% of cases. Now this biotech company, Regeneron, developed monoclonal antibodies, injected that, and lab-crafted molecules mimic the word of human immune system. They are just mimicking. It's a human immune system being copied in a lab. It's a combination of 3 antibodies that target a protein in the surface of Ebola virus. And the success, according to FDA, is 66.2%. And it has been given emergency use because till now Ebola has been thought to be incurable. So from 0 to 66%. Then there has been a home test for COVID-19. You know, what happens is people are afraid of going to the testing centers, the lines there, the danger of getting infection, so they wanted it. So, Alum factory, pharmaceuticals, they have discovered a home test which gives a result in 20 minutes. Vaccines reduce the risk of acquiring corona, but they are not perfect, as I said. There are side effects. So you keep on monitoring whether you have got an infection or not, whether you are positive or not. So a Loom at home COVID test is the first of its kind to get approval. And it allows the consumers to check their COVID-19 status without going to the doctor. So this is extremely useful for the people who travel a lot. Because, for example, USA said that you need to have corona tested within the last 24 hours of your visit. India is doing the same. Now, if these tests are there, and there was a news, I think, that at Delhi airport it was a practically stampede because of the large number of passengers who had to be tested. So these tests can be given to the passenger, they can test it, and within 20 minutes the results can be known. And this would be a great opportunity. What happens is there is an app which takes you through step-by-step instructions, correct the analyzer via Bluetooth, empty the processing liquid into a dropper, swab both nostrils, attach the swab to the dropper, squeeze 5 drops into the analyzer, wait for 15 minutes. And FDA says that the results come out within 20 minutes maximum. As a matter of fact, the positive cases are identified 95% correctly, which is quite a good number. Then, suppose you have got a torn ACL. So what do? So implant has been made which is helpful in treating your ACL. And that ACL is the best done by this bridge enhanced ACL. It's a restoration implant, orthopedics, and it's a less invasive way to repair a person's ACL. Actually, this is ACL is anterior cruciate ligament. It stretches diagonally across the middle of the knee and is very important in keeping your body upright and stable. But it's prone to failure. And repairing it is quite a cumbersome procedure. They have a surgery which is conducted for about 6 hours. Reconstruction, invasive procedure, piece of tendon and bone is taken from another part of the body and placed there. So this bridge enhanced ACL restoration reduces that, and the whole thing can be completed in just half an hour, and the patient body absorbs the device within a few months, by which time the new healthy tissue has grown in its place. Then comes CT scans. They are the in thing today. MRI, CT scan, access is given place to them. But the problem is that the CT scans provide detailed image of the inside of the human body. However, the conventional scanners create images by combining the total energy from several X-rays. So your exposure to the X-rays is very high. And that's a danger, especially to the people who are susceptible to X-ray damage. So, Newton Alpha has developed new precise CT scans which are sharpest, clearest, and you are not exposed to the X-rays the way you were. And then comes the most affordable insulin ever. This is Semglee. Biocon Biologicals, they have developed this insulin which everybody can afford. Insulin for people who are suffering from diabetes type 1 and type 2 is extremely important. Some 34 million people live in diabetes only in North America. And if you look at the world, it goes into millions. So many of these people who suffer insulin, which is a hormone produced by the pancreas, is a necessity for survival. Now, insulin remains extremely expensive. And people who are in Canada don't have to spend on that, but if you are outside, then you know you have to spend to your nose. But this new assembly insulin changes all that. It is an inchangeable, biodissimilar insulin product, the first of its kind to get recognition from FDA. And it's a generic medicine. It replaces all those brands which cause it to be expensive. And it comes in small vials of 10 ml and 3 ml pre-filled bags, and you can do it. As a matter of fact, it's medically identical to Lantus, but it's much better, much cheaper. And then malaria, which is at one time malaria was one of the most deadly diseases. And now Glaxo has developed a vaccine. This is for the first time that a vaccine has been developed for malaria. Malaria kills even now 500,000 people every year. And nobody talks about it. People talk about pandemic which killed 500,000 people. But about malaria, though 500,000 people are killed, and this is most deadly of the 5 parasites that causes malaria. So this vaccine which has been developed called Mosquirus is a heaven sent boon, and this they say is 75% effective. So if it's used along with the flu vaccine, how many lives would be saved you can well imagine. And then yeast infection. Are you aware that yeast infection is the most troubling thing? About 2 million people suffer in USA. About 1 million people suffer in Canada. In India, it's about 20 million people who are suffering. And mostly it's the women. From vagina yeast infection, they suffer every year. Your toes have fungal diseases, the yeast infection. So it can be in 101 ways. So now, a new way has been developed. It's a new antifungal. It treats infections. And for the first time in 20 years, they have developed it. What it does is, it's called Bfeme. Feme is women. So helping feme is a novel antifungal treatment. It works by blocking an enzyme that helps create a protective cover and coating on the bacteria which causes yeast infection. So without this covering, the microbe dies off. So this removes the covering. It's a 2-tablet formation, starts working within a few days and remains in the system of the human body for 2 weeks so that the resurgence cannot be there. So even after you are cured, you don't have to take the medicine. The 2 tablets that you have taken would protect you for yeast infection being a recurring event. So these are the 10 which are breakthroughs. Of course, as I said, there are more than 200, but the selection had to be made. And I find these two top 10 to be outstanding health and medicine breakthroughs. Thank you, scientists and researchers, for this help to mankind. Thank you.